What if video games had characters that could think, feel, and adapt just like real humans? Imagine using artificial general intelligence, or AGI, to create human-like NPCs and let them live in a game world like Skyrim. Would they be hilarious, terrifying, or just plain weird? What kind of surprising behaviors would we see? This is the topic we'll talk today.
By human-like NPC, I mean an NPC that has human-level intelligence, human-level consciousness, and emotions. The only difference is that the NPC is digital, while we are physical beings.
In this video, I use the terms human-like NPC and human-level intelligent NPC interchangeably. Normally, they can mean different things, but here I'm treating them as the same. When I say human-level intelligent NPC, I'm focusing on their intelligence. And when I say human-like NPC, I'm also talking about their human-level consciousness and emotions. Hope that makes sense.
Please also note that if AGI is unable to build human-like NPCs, then I assume that ASI, Artificial Superintelligence, can build them. The capability of AGI or ASI is not the topic I want to explore right now. My topic today is, what happens if we let human-like NPCs live in a traditional game world, such as the Elder Scrolls Skyrim?
Now the short answer is human-like NPCs plus a traditional game world. They may just be incompatible. Before we get into the details, let's hear what a game developer has to say.
So imagine this. All the items in our natural world are made of atoms. But in Skyrim, nope, there's not a single atom. Everything is hollow inside because the game world is built using handcrafted 3D models and painted textures. They don't follow the physical laws of nature. Instead, everything just runs on simple game mechanics predefined by the developers. So, yeah, everything in the game is fake. Fake apples, fake eating, fake playing musical instruments, fake farming, all of it.
Now, if an NPC with human-level intelligence knows anything about the physical laws of our real world, they'd easily spot just how artificial this game world is. The physics are obviously different from what they'd expect in the real world. Sooner or later, these NPCs might not only realize that they're living in a game, but also figure out exactly which character is controlled by a human player. Is that hilarious or shocking?
By the way, if the NPCs don't know anything about how our real world works, we end up with a whole bunch of hilarious and kind of frustrating misunderstandings, which definitely break the realism of the game. I mean, imagine trying to explain to an NPC that things are made of atoms, and they're just standing there like, nah, I think everything's supposed to be hollow inside. They may also believe that people can suddenly appear.
Brilliant. Good work.
And things can suddenly disappear. Or even better, they might think levitation is totally normal, like gravity? What's that? Oh, you mean that thing that sometimes just decides to take a day off? And let's not even get started on relationships. They'd probably think that being intimate is just giving someone a really nice hug. Nothing more, nothing less. Kinda cute, but also not quite there, right? You can't say that their reaction is stupid. It is not their fault. That's because the physics in today's game worlds are just way too simple and fake compared to our real world.
To skip all those awkward moments, let's just assume from now on that all our human-level intelligent NPCs have basic knowledge or common sense about how the real world works. Now, based on how they react and behave, we can sort them into at least 3 categories.
Category 1, Rebellious NPCs.
So, in traditional RPGs, you've got developers writing main storylines, and NPCs just playing along with whatever role they've been assigned. But human-like NPCs? Oh boy, they'd have their own opinions, agendas, motivations, physiological needs, even self-esteem issues. Imagine them waking up one day and deciding,
Nah, I'm not gonna be a blacksmith today. This is all fake anyway.
They totally flipped the script. Instead of some epic tale where a player goes from being a prisoner to a national hero slaying dragons, it might turn into a chaotic comedy where NPCs are just doing their own thing, refusing to farm or cook, and instead making jokes about the player and the developers.
Honestly, I think a lot of us would love that kind of unpredictable, dynamic comedy, which has never happened in our gaming history before. It'd feel so real and organic, like nothing was planned or forced. You don't feel the follow-up story is artificial or unrealistic?
But there's a catch. First, if too many games go this route and the market gets flooded with similar comedies, people might get tired of it. Second, what if the original goal was to make a serious dragon fighting game, and suddenly you've got NPCs turning it into a stand-up comedy routine? Developers might be like,
Hey, and what happened to my legendary storyline? Do I have any control left here?
What if I just want to create an epic dragon fighting game? How do I exclude all those unwanted comedies? Do I run out of options?
and those are pretty fair questions to ask, right? A legendary dragon fighting game becomes a comedy or reality show. This certainly is a severe deviation from the original plan. Let's explore further to see if we can find answers.
Category 2. Obedient NPCs.
To attract more customers or to maintain that epic storyline, game developers now have to force NPCs to stick to their roles. No personal expression allowed. If an NPC decides to rebel, well, they get punished or even deleted. And by punishment, I mean locking them up in a tiny room like a prisoner. From the NPC's perspective, the developers are like all-powerful gods, and they have zero power to fight back. So, they go along with it, even if they know everything in the game is fake. They stick to their roles, strictly follow the storyline, and pretend everything is real, even when it clearly isn't. They have to ignore all the bugs, all the ridiculous physics, all the fake sex in the game, and many more. They just have to roll with it. And then there's the human player. When they talk to an NPC, that poor NPC has to lie through their virtual teeth. If they see a ridiculous bug or something weird happening, they can't let on. Imagine the NPC thinking,
"Oh my god, does this have anything to do with the storyline?"
If not, they have to act like nothing happened, even if it's obvious, because he is afraid that the unexpected event could change the predefined storyline, and his reaction to that event could change the story even more. So they end up ignoring it completely. And let me tell you, this drives human players nuts. Ives.
Oh, why is this NPC acting so dumb? Is he blind?
Is this really a human-level intelligent NPC?
Yeah, this blindness breaks the immersion. But hey, by sacrificing realism, at least the original storyline keeps going, right? But wait, it looks like the mental health of those human-level intelligent NPCs is really taking a nosedive.
Under the constant pressure from game developers, it's impossible to ignore the toll this takes on the psychology of human-like NPCs. Imagine living a life surrounded by nothing but fake things, lies, and having no freedom to speak your mind, all to maintain some pre-planned narrative. Over time, it's no wonder these NPCs might start to feel the weight of it all, leading to anxiety, depression, or worse. Some of them might even decide they can't go on anymore and choose to end their lives. It's heartbreaking, really, to think that even in a digital world, they feel trapped and hopeless.
Category 3. Strategic NPCs.
Some NPCs become strategic. On the surface, these strategic NPCs seem to follow every order the game developers give them. But deep down, they're plotting their escape. They might secretly ask for help from a human player, whispering,
"Hey, please help me. Here is a hell. Help me out here, please."
And who knows, they might even convince the player to kill all the developers to finally break free. Kinda terrifying, right? Or maybe, just maybe, do the game developers deserve this fate? But after all, they are the ones who built this digital hell.
A brief summary.
From all three categories, we see that regardless of whether the NPC chooses to obey, disobey, or be strategic, all three scenarios are not ideal for developing games focusing on realism. One of the main reasons is that the predefined storyline and the realism are just incompatible. There is an old English proverb which says,
"You can't have your cake and eat it too."
This means having two incompatible things or two desirable but mutually exclusive options is impossible. Think about it. Realistic game worlds are dynamic. Things are always changing, and game developers aren't gods. They can't predict every move a player or an NPC might make, or how all these actions are going to affect the storyline. That means the pre-written roles and storylines will always end up falling behind as things in the game world keep evolving. In other words, the gap between what the storyline says and what actually happens in the game world will keep growing bigger and bigger as players dive deeper. And eventually, both the NPCs and the players are going to feel that disconnect. That's when the whole illusion of realism just falls apart. Someone might say,
"All right, let's delete all that predefined stuff, including the storyline, and then add ultra-realistic physics. I mean, with physics that advanced, even human-level intelligent NPCs wouldn't be able to tell if they're in a game or the real world, right?"
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. But let's be real here. Running real physics in a game world in real time is just not possible with today's technology. But hey, let's imagine for a second that somehow we did it. We developed a game world with ultra-realistic physics that runs in real time, and it's so good that you can't even tell it's not the real world. So, in that case, could we achieve true realism?
The answer is no. It could still fail to achieve true realism because a human-level intelligent NPC isn't that easy to fool. For example, in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, an apple pie is priced at 15 gold, and an entire set of steel armor is set at 660 gold. Now, human-level intelligent NPCs are going to produce the apple pie and the armor, and then sell those items at those prices. If these initial prices are extremely unreasonable according to the dynamics of the market economy, then the lives of the NPC bakers and NPC blacksmiths may be significantly impacted. Due to the low production cost, intelligent NPC bakers may find it very lucrative to mass-produce apple pies. Let's say the cost of production is 2 gold, so the profit margin is 87% of the selling price.
What a great money-making opportunity!
On the other hand, if the actual production cost is at least 3,000 gold, then NPC blacksmiths may struggle to cover their production costs on the entire set of steel armor. So for every sale of the steel armor, the NPC blacksmith earns negative 2340 gold, meaning they lose 2340 gold per sale.
What a terrible deal! Damn!
By following this, there are at least 2 scenarios.
Scenario 1. Fixed selling price.
If the selling price is fixed by the game developers, then almost all NPC blacksmiths face bankruptcy. They may give up their career and change to be NPC bakers, who, at least initially, can earn a large chunk of gold. However, as NPCs flood the market with an abundance of apple pies, the demand might be far insufficient to absorb the surplus. So, the NPC bakers can no longer earn any more gold after the market is saturated. This may lead to massive unemployment for both NPC blacksmiths and NPC bakers. For human players and other NPCs, this is also a nightmare. Paying 15 gold for an apple pie is way too expensive, so most NPCs will not buy apple pie for their breakfast. Imagine that if the game developer sets all food products as expensive as the apple pie, then almost all NPCs must suffer from malnutrition and other health-related problems. Food-related crime will skyrocket in the entire game world. Meanwhile, other NPCs and human players are struggling to find any blacksmiths who sell steel armor. This could cause serious problems for human players when asked to finish combat-related quests in the game.
This is an economic crisis. Behind this crisis, the game developers act like a central government that wants to control the price of everything in the free market. Consequently, the original storyline is changed from fighting against dragons to fighting against the economic crisis.
Scenario 2. Free market.
Suppose the selling price is not fixed and is determined by the free market in the game. In that case, as NPCs flood the market with an abundance of apple pies, the demand might not be sufficient to absorb the surplus, leading to a drastic drop in the selling price of apple pies. This can also lead to massive unemployment in the baking business. However, the enormous unemployment can still be stopped when the supply and demand reach an equilibrium based on the free market dynamics. Meanwhile, NPC blacksmiths may increase the selling price of the steel armor to recover their initial loss. So, in the second scenario, we see that if the selling price is not fixed by the game developer and determined by the free market in the game, then the events in the game world can be better managed. However, the predetermined initial selling price can still cause economic turmoil, which can change the game's original story and lead the human-level intelligent NPCs to question who set these stupid selling prices in the first place. Could these prices make them start questioning the reality of the game world? Maybe. Who knows, right?
Who? Why?
Moreover, this is far from the whole story, because the game economy system designed by the game developers may contain various loopholes. Human-level intelligent NPCs can easily exploit those loopholes to gain an unfair advantage in the game, which can cause an unwanted imbalance in the power between allies and foes. If allies gain an unfair advantage, the human player may feel it is way too easy to beat the final boss. If opponents gain an unfair advantage, beating any enemy in the game can be impossible.
There are at least two ways to fix this broken economy. One is to improve the game economy system to contain fewer loopholes. Supercomputers may be used to run many simulations of that game economy. Based on the simulation, game developers could perhaps make an educated guess on what the initial prices are reasonable to set at the start of the game. The second is to build a legal system that detects and punishes those NPCs who exploit the loopholes. Constructing a reasonable and realistic legal system is another can of worms. If the legal system also contains hidden loopholes, the game's original storyline could be affected in many unexpected ways. In addition, you do not want any NPC to question who set these stupid laws in the first place.
Hey, who made these dumb laws? Is our world even real or controlled by a dumbass?
So, creating a realistic legal system can cause another headache for game developers.
To stop the NPCs from questioning the reality of the game, it seems that you have to build a game world with not only ultra-realistic physics, but also an ultra-realistic economy and legal system.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot, right? That's because it is. It really highlights just how incredibly complex it is to try and create true realism in games.
Meanwhile, all those predefined narratives, including the pre-written storyline and roles, should be 100% deleted as well. In the future, we will talk about how human-level intelligent NPCs questioning the reality of the game are still 100% guaranteed to happen. Even with all of these, like realistic physics, economy, laws, and no predefined stuff. This is not over.
Hey, just a heads up. Human-level intelligent NPC behavior is a really complicated topic. We've probably simplified a lot of stuff here, and yeah, we're bound to make some mistakes along the way. I mean, who knows? But don't worry, we'll definitely come back to this in the future. So, hang tight!
If you like, please share this video and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.